Well, hey, good morning. Good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing today? Today, I'm going to be sharing with you a resource that you can give your parents, right? If you want to, do you want to get in good with your parents? I have a resource I think that you can share with them that is going to bank a little goodwill. So if you've not been able to connect with your parents very well lately, let me help you out with that. And it's a resource I found through Axis, which is a media. It's a media ministry that helps parents disciple their kids. But I went ahead and printed this out last night for my parents, and I think it's so critically important for youth pastors to share information with their, when they can, right? When something comes out that is relevant, and I think parents appreciate, even if they don't read the even if they don't read the material. I think parents appreciate the effort that youth pastors give forth if they're trying to help them, disciple their kids, which is really the goal, right? That's our goal as youth pastors, to help parents disciple their kids. Yes, we want to be partners in that. We want to help do that. But ultimately, we want to be able to help parents disciple their kids. They're the main disciplers of their children. So any resources we can give them is going to be helpful. And so I want to give you share with you the 2025 resource that Axis is giving out. You can get it for free, and I'm going to put a link to that so you can check it out for yourself. Let me drop it here in the chat. And by the way, if you have questions or if you have anything like that, feel free to drop those in the chat as well. Let's see here. Drop it in the chat. There we go. This is the Axis 2025, I'll call it Culture Guide. And it just has these little snapshots. I'm going to share with you with a few of those snapshots here in just a minute to show you what it covers. Let's see. Here we go. It's a long link, but well worth it. Well worth it. They don't require you to sign up for anything like this, but they will. I'm going to also put the link to the actual site in there as well, so you can check out some of their other resources. Because it is, like I said, a very good resource for youth pastors to connect with parents. That's kind of the whole goal here of Axis, is to help do that. Let's see, let me go ahead and drop this here. This is the Axis main page. Let's see. There we go. All right. So there's two links right there that I think are going to be helpful to you, and you can even look along with me if you want to. I'm going to go ahead and jump into this here in just a second. Sort of waiting for maybe a few people to drop in that want to drop in. But I will let you know this. I do have some resources that you might be interested in. Before we jump into the 2025 guide and kind of do a little review of that, let me show you here. I have what is called a series called, it's a 6-week series called Action Figures, Made by God, Made for Good. And basically I take this action figures theme because the deal is this. If you look behind me, I have a Funko Pop of, let's see, let me get around this way. There we go. I have a Funko Pop here of Dwight Schrute from The Office, right? And these are fun to put behind you, right? Because people notice them and they go, oh, what's that? They'll take a Funko Pop and, just put it there. And I tell students, say, look, you're not designed to be Funko Pops in the background of somebody else's story. You're designed to be an action figure used by God, right? Made by God, made for good, to do good. And so I take the acronym ACTION, which is allow God to lead you, concentrate on others, which is what we covered last night with my youth group. We talk about focusing on others, that Christianity is an others faith, not just about us. Take a step of faith, illustrate Jesus, overcome fear, never grow weary. And so 6-week series. So if you're interested in getting your students, if you're interested in laying a foundation, if you will, for students to take action, I think this is a good series to do that. It's one of the series that I am super proud of. And if you would like a free lesson, by the way, I'm going to put two links here. I'm going to put a link to the lesson. By the way, it comes with the 6 weeks of lessons, slides, social media, little promos. It comes with a 21-day devotional that you can. It doesn't come printed. This is all PDF, but it does come with a 21-day guide that I wrote. That at the bottom of it, it says the good I did today, and that's the whole point. Is our students taking action on the things that God has put in there, right? The whole point is that that we are created, we are God's workmanship created in Christ Jesus to do good works that God has prepared for us in advance to do, Ephesians 2:10. And so this whole point is say, look, there are opportunities all around you to do good. Do something good today. That maybe God has prepared this moment for you, right? So it comes with the devotion you can print out yourself. You can do, share it online. You can do some other thing, with your students and do that. And I will give you, if you want to do a free lesson, let me pop this in here. Just sign up for my newsletter. Let's see, free, action lesson. And that's going to be allowing God to use you. It's the first week of the lesson. You can kick the tires, try it out for yourself, see if it's something that you want to do with your kids. And then you can sign up for the newsletter, and then the newsletter will come to you every week, and it'll have videos, articles, all cool stuff that you would like to have as a youth pastor that's going to help you and benefit you, grow your youth ministry. And that's the whole point of that. Now, I will put a link here that if you want to buy this series, if you'd like to say, look, Paul, I'm ready. I need a new series for my kids. I want to teach them something about, I need some momentum. I want to start the year with action, right? If that's you, then I'm going to drop this one here. This is just buy the series. It'll give you a link to go to that. So let me drop that here as well. Okay. All right. There we go. All the links, all the things are there. All right, let's go ahead and move along. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you all. If you want any of those resources, like I said, all the links will be down below later on as well. So if you're interested in any of the things I've just talked about, all the links to everything I just shared will be in the chat, but it's also going to be down below. So let's go ahead and jump over to, make sure I got this set up here correctly. All right. Let's jump over here. So here's the parent guide that Access offers. And the guide here is the 2025 guide. It breaks it down into different genres, not genres, maybe categories, better way to say that. The categories here of things like, the introduction here says, you got streaming or movies, books, gaming, fashion and beauty, music, social media apps, conclusion, and source list. Now, we'll just kind of walk through it. I'm not going to take super long to do it because you can download it for yourself and read it for yourself. But I'll just share some things that I think are cool about it as a resource to give to parents. Which, once again, it is goodwill offering to parents. If parents, I want to help you, right? I'm not trying to, blow things up. I'm trying to bring things together. I don't want to get in. I don't want to be in the mix of all this necessarily. I want to help you. I want to give you the resources. I'm going to come alongside you. I'm the vitamin C. I'm the vitamin. I'm not the main course. I'm not the main protein here, right? You are. I am just a addition to that, if I can be and if you'd like me to be. So it starts going through just a few things. Like it'll go through a song. So like just a few months ago, musician Tyler, the creator's new song St. Chroma, was the top of the charts, intermixed among whispered, braggadocio, self-mythology, and truly unusual musical production. Was a powerful chorus line. Can you feel the light inside? Can you feel that fire? So they'll take something like that and give you some of the lyrics over here, and then encourage you to talk about the fact that Jesus said, hey, you're the light of the world. So Axis is really good at connecting culture and maybe lessons that you want to, that you want your parents to know. But it's also a resource for us as youth pastors to say, hey, this, maybe I could use this. Maybe something in here that I can use with students. And then it gives you some streaming movies. So we start with that. So Stranger Things is coming out this year, and I am a fan of the series. I'd like to know, are you a fan of the Stranger Things series? I love it. I think because that's my era. That's the time I grew up in life, and so everything is very on point for me. I'm looking, going, oh, yeah. Remember that? I remember that, right? I was one of those kids on bikes, man, running around the neighborhood, just doing crazy junk, right? So if you're one of those kids, just leave me a comment below and say, I love Stranger Things. Stranger Things, the series will first solidify Netflix's place as a power player in the teenage entertainment space. The Smash Hit Horror Show is coming to close with its 5th season next summer. And showrunners have confirmed that Will, one of the main characters, is gay, and they will explore his sexuality more in the final season. Exactly how this will affect the story and how this large part of it will play in the narrative is unknown. Now, once again, that's something to know. If parents are in on it, if that's something that you think, man, they need to know that, you're going to let them know that. It's not whether you're saying watch the show, don't watch the show. It's like, hey, let's be informed that there's some narratives going on within the media that maybe you should know about, or maybe your kids are watching things that you're not super thrilled about, but at least it will inform you as to whether or not you have what a parent wants to do, right? It's not about me, what I tell a kid to do, watch it, don't watch it. It's about what a parent tells a kid and how they parent their child. That's the whole point of equipping parents to disciple their kids. I find that when youth pastors get too deep into their own opinions, it's usually a bad place. It's usually a bad place to be, at least, once again, in my experience. So I have learned to equip and not be the voice of we're not going to do that. That's a parent. Another show, Andor. I do like me some old Star Wars. Not a fan of the new Star Wars, except for Mandalorian Andor. And Andor's coming out. Andor will be complete its 2-season run on Disney Plus as the show's storyline reaches a foregone conclusion at the beginning, because this is what it builds up to Rogue One. Andor is widely garnered as the best Star Wars ever made after The Mandalorian's reputation was tainted by its campy, somewhat disjointed seasons 2 and 3. Some even consider Andor to be the best Star Wars anything. Yeah, it's true. I think it's the best outside of, the first 3 movies. I would say it's pretty good. Pretty good. The content is also much more mature than most Star Wars. First season contained brief references to prostitution, systematic abuses of power, prison riots. I like how they put prison riots in there, and some graphic violence. Once again, that's the kind of Star Wars I dig. I do like a darker type of Star Wars. And but you tell me if you like any of the Star Wars things. Let me know. Would like to hear about your Star Wars, if that's your jam or not. So then it goes into some. I'm not going to cover the whole thing. Just want to give you a briefing here, right? This is like a Thursday briefing, if you will, about something that may be of value to you. And I may do this more on Thursdays. Thursdays is designated as my video day, and there are Thursdays I just don't want to make a video. So my commitment to the community here, for those of you that are subscribers, and maybe those who are just watching, is saying, look, I want to bring value. Whether I'm making a video, the whole point isn't that I'm making a video that's going to be good with the algorithm. I'm more concerned with youth pastors being equipped to do good youth ministry. And you shouldn't have to wait until I think, oh, I'm going to make a really great video that's going to get me lots of views and subscribers. Then I'll make the video. But by then it's too late. If I'm going to wait on to do that, you never get the resource. You'll never get the information. So more live videos from me on Thursday morning, I think, might be appropriate. One Piece, based on, I think that's like the longest running manga that is out there, and there's a live piece thing. You have the Minecraft movie. I don't know about that. I mean, I'm sure somebody's going to like that. The Last of Us. Is the I did not I don't I tend not to watch video game movies that I have not played the video game because I'm going to miss a ton of stuff. Because because if it's made for the fans of the video game, I'm going to be a little lost, I think, or I won't get it, or I won't. And some things can just stand on their own. It's fine. I just I just choose not to watch video game movies like this because my concern is for me that I'm like, well, I don't get that, or that was supposed to be big, huh? You know, and I'm gonna miss those. I'm gonna miss those moments. But it informs, once again, parents of what's out there that say, "What are you watching?" Well, I'm watching The Last of Us. Well, there are pieces and parts of that that parents may not agree with, and say, "Yeah, I don't think that's good." Um, let's see, Snow White. If you've seen anything on the internet, Snow White is going to be a full blown disaster. Disney, I'll read this. Disney has been making quite a few live action adaptations from classic films. That's usually due to keep the property, so they have to make something, right, to hold on to the copyright. I want to say if I'm saying that correctly, to hold on to the rights of the thing there. These have been very successful at the box office so far. It says these have been very successful at the box so far because they provide a reliable and safe entertainment option for parents with younger children. I would say that live action, I don't look if it's not the Lion King with Elton John singing the songs. I'm just not super interested, and I know, "But it's not for you." Okay, I understand. I just don't care. Making live actions out of Disney classics are just, eh, you know, for me. How to Train Your Dragon live action. I know lots of drama around that. Now, here's something I like about the resource here. Questions for your teens about streaming movies. Okay. What movies or TV shows had the biggest impact on you in 2024? Now, a parent may not say it that way. That's something a youth pastor would say. Parents would say, "Hey, did you watch anything last year that was really good that you really enjoyed?" And basically by asking that question, you're just opening up conversation. Asking it like this, "What movies or TV had the biggest impact in 24?" just sounds like psychoanalysis, or like I said, something a youth pastor would say because they're trying to get to something. And if you just ask your kids, say, "Hey, what did you watch last year that was really good?" Or better still, like the next question, are there any movies or new seasons of shows you're looking forward to in 2025? And the whole point is to open up conversations about media, open up conversations about what you're watching. Last night, even after youth group, I was out there and they said, the kids were in their car, and I walked out there and said, "What are you guys doing?" He says, "We're having a concert." I said, "Really? What are you listening to?" Cannot tell you who they were listening to. It was irrelevant in that regard. I wish I would have remembered. Somehow the audience is empty. The audience is empty. Is that what they said? Maybe something like that. I'm not entirely sure. I gotta look it up. Let me see. I'm gonna look it up here real quick, just for not for you guys, just for me. The audience, just to see I'm crazy. Let's see. Nope. I have no idea what I'm talking about because that didn't come up when I looked that up. The audience is empty. I don't know. It could be something like that. If you know what it is, put it in the chat there and correct me because I am not clearly unsure. So let's go on books, romance, and romantasy. So there's things like and I'm a reader. I like reading. I find that a lot of students don't like to read. I have probably maybe of my group, mostly girls, that do like the reading. And so these are, once again, things for parents. I'm not going to control what kids are reading. That's not my job. You're going to read. They're going to do what they're going to do, and then I will put everything in biblical context. That if I hear something or whatever, I'll say, "Oh, well, have you considered this or thought about this?" And it depends, too, that a lot of, like with manga, I find that when I spoke at camp, and I would bring up, because I was big into, what was that? My Hero Academia. I like that. It's probably one of the only mangas I like. I enjoy. One of the only animes I enjoyed, and I would bring that up. And I find that if you bring up an anime to somebody, you better know everything about that anime, because students will grill you about every episode. And what did you think about this? And what do you think about that? And I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't bring that up anymore. Same with books in that regard. I think that if you're going to talk to a book person, if you have not read the book, boy, you may just be in for it. So you might want to read the book, youth pastors. That's all I'm saying. If you want to read along, read along. Fantasy. Fantasy, and I do like a good fantasy novel. Fantasy as a whole has been steadily growing, with authors such as Brandon Sanderson, Leigh Bardugo, James Islington, and N.K. Jemisin, regularly releasing bestsellers. As of 2020, fantasy was the most popular genre among Gen Z, with 53% regularly reading it, and that number has likely gone up in recent years. I grew up on fantasy. I grew up reading the Dragonlance series and lots of other books. Of course, millennials grew up, my kids grew up reading Harry Potter, and so it kind of has taken off from there. I'm kind of interested in this, not this particular one, but there's, where's the book here? Matt Dinniman will release This Inevitable Ruin, the 7th book in his Dungeon Crawl Carl series. I'll give that a shot. I have read in the past, like I think I read Divergent, I read The Hunger Games, and as a reader, I can tell that it's being written to young adults, right? I'm reading it going, okay, word choices, just the structure. And some of it's entertaining, but you can tell the level at which it's written for. So I'd be interested. I got to read this maybe and say, oh, I wonder how this is written. I'd be interested to know what that's about. Then you got Joe Abercrombie's master of the grimdark genre, which I like that. A genre known for its dark subject matter, morally gray characters, grim violence. We'll start a new series on May 7th set in fictional medieval Europe. The Devil's about demons, monsters, a dark side of the order of clergy trying to stop a coming apocalypse. I'm in. I like that. Then you have some other cool stuff there. You got young adult, talks about young adult, the genre of books. Once again, equipping parents. That's what this, you're giving them information. Say, by the way, if you don't know what your kid's reading, you don't know what your kid's watching, you don't know what your kid's into, here you go. If you see this, this is to inform you as a parent. And then it gives you questions at the end. Once again, every section has its questions. Would you say that reading fiction has become a bigger trend in 2024? Once again, I would say it this way. I would say, do your friends read a lot? Or do you guys all read the same book? What do you think so many young people are paying attention to in fiction? Or why do you think so many more young people are paying attention to fiction? I don't know. That's, I guess, a good question to understand as a parent. It's like, why is everybody reading? There was a time when nobody was reading, and now everybody's reading. Why is that? And then only hoping, but maybe books they're interested. Then you have gaming. And gaming, you have games coming out, Grand Theft Auto 6. Never played it. I grew up in that time where when it was bad, it was really bad. Like, oh my gosh, really? You just run around and you're just gonna start murking people? No, we're not doing that. That wasn't my jam. This anarchy, I just was like, no, we're not gonna do that. I was much more into, Rainbow Six, stuff like that I thought was a little more fun that I'd play with my friends. And let's see here. Civilization 7, Kingdom Come. Once again, I'm not a video game person. I don't have not one game on my phone. My students were like, you don't have any games on your phone? Well, that's what's wrong with you, or something like that. And I went, I think that's what's right with me, because I have time to do other things like make videos, because I just don't have the time. I'm saving that for retirement. That's my plan, is that if I retire and I just literally have nothing else to do, I will buy whatever the newest game system is, and I will sit down and play video games. I'll play old video games if they're backward compatible at that time, whatever they're doing with games, or play on Steam or whatever I got to do. I don't do it. If it's there, I used to have video game consoles in my rooms and all that stuff, and that was fine. I'd do that with students. But when I'm by myself, I'm like, I want to read a book. Leave me alone. Go away. Um, and then it talks about games. Then it breaks into tabletop role playing games. I'm a fan of those. And then it breaks down. It says, let's see, it talks about Critical Role, which is one of the largest live streams that really kicked off some things. They have a series on Amazon Prime called The Legends of Vox Machina. And there's also been an 85% increase in the interest in Dungeons & Dragons since 2020, which, between Critical Role, Stranger Things, and a couple other little factors in there, and the pandemic, all of that just spiked all that way up. Questions for your teens. I'm not going to do fashion and beauty because it's not my talking about fashion and beauty. I need some fashion and beauty, but I'm not going to talk about fashion and beauty. I will talk about music though, because I do like music. Rap and hip hop. Hip hop isn't as dominant as it once was, but that doesn't mean it's not going anywhere. And then it gets into some genres and artists. Talks about the Creator, Tyler the Creator, Drake, Kendrick Lamar, who's going to be doing Super Bowl halftime show, which is fine. Then it talks about the feud between Kendrick and Drake was the biggest thing that happened to hip hop in 24 with diss tracks aimed at each other. Once again, parents are not going to care about that, but they'll know. They'll say, by the way, there's beef in the hip hop space. Talks about country music, folk, and here's my disappointing part here. I won't read the others, but it says rock music is still one of the most popular music genres, with nearly half of Americans listing it as one of their favorites, and almost a third listing it as their favorite. However, rock is much less popular among young generations. Only 17% list it as their favorite genre. That makes me sad, because I do like me some rock and roll, and I do like some, I grew up on Christian rock. I grew up with, Christian metal bands. When Christian music, now the 70s was pretty cool because you had Larry Norman, you had Sweet Comfort Band, you had a lot of bands back then, DeGarmo and Key, and then of course rock, good rock, and then moved into metal, and I was like, man, I love this metal stuff. I do. I do. Sometimes I go to bed with it. Like, I'm going to go to bed listening to some Christian metal. In fact, I'll give you a band I just heard today. I was listening to all this morning, and it was a band called Break the Silence, and album's called Love Like Gravity. It's a really good rock album. If you're looking for a good rock album, Love Like Gravity, Break the Silence is a fantastic rock album, Christian or not, but it is Christian, and worth the time. Now, questions about music for your teens. Something I did for my kids, my bloodline, is I used to write for a ministry called Interlink, and I would get boxes of CDs, boxes of these CDs, like a dozen or so CDs, and my kids, after I was sometimes I wouldn't even get the box. Like, they'd be into it. Like, oh, I'm going to listen to this. I'm going to listen to this. And so I was always funneling new music to my kids, giving away hundreds of CDs to teenagers over the years, because I still believe in it as a format to help disciple kids. I think music has the power to do that. I think I was discipled by Christian music a lot. It wasn't always perfect, but it got me interested in reading the Bible more. It got me fired up in my soul. So it did. There was, the academic part, the biblical part, but also the passion part. And so I think music plays an important part in youth ministry as far as that goes. So questions for your teens about music. What band music has the biggest impact on you in 2024? Once again, these sound like therapy questions. Just say, hey, who you listening to? Just like I walked out last night and asked students, who you listening to? Let's go, okay. And then remember the name, and then go do your homework and do your research. But then don't come, and parents, if you're a parent watching this, I'd say, parents, don't go back and say, hey, I listened to that stuff you listened to and it was terrible, you should stop that. Okay, that's one way to do it, but you could also just say, I'm going to just do my research. I'm going to pray. I'm going to pray over this before I go after my kid, right? Or find some alternatives. Um, do you have any new albums, any new music you're looking forward to in 2025? That's a good question. This is a really good question. Has a song ever impacted more than just your mood and actually changed the way you think about something? That's a really good question for, I think, for youth pastors or parents. But once you give this resource to parents, you know, I think they're going to find that that's a good question. It's a good question. Then it gets into social media apps, which once again, good information for parents. I'm sure parents know that their kids are on social media, but this gives a little bit more context for those things, so they can read it and go, "Oh, I know something about my kid. I got." And once again, teachers in public schools and so private schools aren't necessarily, they're sending home about grades. They're sending notes home about what their kids are doing. Youth pastors have the unique opportunity to talk about culture with parents and say, hey, did you know this is popular? Did you know this is going on? And this is something, this becomes a great gift. So your next parent meeting, if you want to dress this up, I did it this way. I printed this off black and white, two-sided. How many pages is this? This is, let's see. Oh, it's 19 pages. So if you do front and back, that's what, 8 pages. 9 pages. 9 pages, right? And an extra. So 9 pages front and back, you're going to give that. You could take it to a printer, get it printed off, put it in your budget, and say, I'm going to give you a nice full color thing here. Parents, look, 2025, here's some information. And what that may do, youth pastors, is spark conversations between you and parents and say, and the parents may ask you, can you tell me more about this band? Can you tell me more about, if you're a female youth worker, can you tell me more about this beauty product, or what's popular going on with the girls? Or, can you tell me more? Do you know anything about this series? Do you know anything about this movie? Do you know anything about this streaming? And when you give something to parents and say, this is a gift, I want to, put something there for you and say, to equip you to disciple your kids, those parents are going to maybe be more open. So if you feel like there's been a closed door between you and some parents lately, give them a gift like this and say, I just want to help you. If there's anything in there I can answer questions about, please let me know. But otherwise, hey, just want to put this in your hands and let you know, hey, this is a really good resource that might help you out, right? All right, Instagram. Meta-owned Instagram is used by 65% of Gen Z. And there's tons of it, and then probably more, maybe even more now with wherever TikTok's going. Who knows? They're going to stay on there. They're going to go wherever the action is. In 2024, Instagram's parental controls began to, at last, make significant improvements. Parents can now view their teens' time spent on the app, who they follow and who follows them, and what reports they submit to Instagram. So I think that's important for parents to know, that there are controls that they can put on phones, especially if they're giving their phones, right? They give phones to their kids at whatever age. If they're going to do it at 13, 14, 15, 16, parents are going to decide what that is, right? What the perfect age to give a kid. Maybe not give them one at all, but at least have the controls on there. If they're going to give it to them younger, give them to their iPad kids, that at least they know they have some control over that. Parents will go, oh, I can know things, right? Those parents that want to know things. So then it goes into Snapchat, it goes into Reddit, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, Twitch. Questions at the end are you surprised to learn that Temu is the most #1 popular app? Once again, I think the questions could be far more conversational rather than I'm interviewing you. Listen, sit down, lay down on the couch. Allow me to, psychoanalyze your behavior, young person, child of mine. Ask your kid, do you ever get anything off Temu? Or what's your favorite thing? It could be funny, right? Or maybe you as a parent, buy some crappy stuff off Temu and share it and go, look, I bought some stuff off here. once again, the reframing of the questions, just let parents know. If you're doing it in a parents' meeting, just say, hey, you might want to take these in a more conversational approach versus putting your kid on the couch and grilling them. Conclusion. So it gives you all the conclusions there. Access is a crowd-funded nonprofit organization providing resources to Christian parents discipling the next generation, and then it gives you all the information there. It gives you the source list at the end, so parents can do more research if they want to do that. Once again, I think this is just a great resource. I wanted to bring it to all of you because I think that youth pastors, anytime you can make inroads with parents, make inroads with parents. That's what I'm saying. If you can make inroads with parents, make inroads with parents. So, but that is the guide. That's the 2025 guide from Access. I hope that you enjoyed my little preview of that. Once again, all the links will be in the chat, and then I'll put some links down below to all of those things as well. I hope that you'll check out my resources as well. If you go to thediscipleproject.net, if you check out the links below to the action figures made by God, made for good, you can get a free lesson. All that stuff will be down there as well, and check that out. But I have other resources as well, so I'll put a link to my store, which has dozens and dozens of series, resources for youth pastors, and all that kind of good stuff. But we'd love to hear from you. If you're a brand new viewer, you've never seen this before, never seen my channel before, thank you for watching. If you've watched this, would love you to be part of the community. Go and click the thumbs up and the subscribe button. You get videos like this, maybe more Thursdays. I'll be doing more live, and you'll check out whatever resource I'm thinking about or going through that I think would be good for your youth ministry. And then don't forget to visit all the links down below there. But that's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks for being a part. If you're a regular, by the way, I always appreciate your time and your attention. Thanks for being a part of the community. Feel free to share this video with somebody. Do you have youth leaders? Do you have a network of people that says, hey, I think they might be interested? Well, share it with them and say, hey, check out this really cool resource. Anyway, I hope that you get this resource for your parents. Leave me some comments down below if you have any comments about anything that I've talked about today. Appreciate you so much, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Have a good one, everybody. Talk to you later.